Don't we all love to save money, especially when you're traveling to Europe or overseas? And a lot of people do book budget airlines. If you only traveled in the United States on budget airlines and would like to compare and see the differences with the European budget airlines, you will see it in this video. So stay tuned. I'm going to tell you all the pros and cons, why and when to book the budget airlines to get the best deal. And of course, I'm going to tell you what to expect once you're flying those airlines in Europe. Hi, my name is Veronica. Welcome to my channel Happy Lady One-on-One, where I talk about travel, cruises, and provide you the travel tips. Stay tuned. Don't forget to like this video to help promote my channel. Subscribe, leave comments and questions below. Let's get started. First, let's talk about budget airlines in general. Why do people book budget airlines? And of course, it is related to money and it is less expensive than your regular airline tickets, especially if you're going to Europe, you're going on a big vacation. Maybe it's even an overseas flight that you need to be prepared for. The best time to look for deals is 6+ months in advance, because this is when you're gonna get the best deal. Sometimes I try to book a year in advance, or maybe it is a last minute flight and they do have different deals on the last minute chances. So you can look into that as well. Also, it's a lot cheaper to book your flights during the shoulder seasons. And we're talking about spring or fall, when the families are staying home, kids are in school, or maybe it's the holidays. So it's better to book around those times, so when it's not busy, and then the prices are the best as well. In case you did fly on budget airlines before, you know that the personal item will be free. But the personal item is really limited to the weight and the size. You have to consider that most of those budget planes are rather small. Whether you're flying something in the United States or in Europe, those planes are tiny. What the security checks for is anything that doesn't fit under the seat in front of you is not going to be considered a free item, or they will not let you bring it in for free. You will have to either check it in or you will have to pay for the carry-on luggage. Now let's talk about when do you pay for those carry-ons or checked-in bags. Keep in mind that in Europe, some of those budget airlines do not allow you to do that in the airport. It's going to be a lot more expensive if you try to do it at the airport during the check-in. A lot of times, they will also let you check in 24 hours before the flight on your phone or over the internet. You do not have to do it at the airport. And during the check-in on the app, you will be able to purchase the checked-in bag or the carry-on. You will have to pay it right there in the app. Because at the airport, even if you wanted to try to change your seats, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Last time I flew to Europe on Icelandair, the airport clerk told me they will have to charge me €50 just to change the seats. I already had the seats assigned to me because I did not pay for the seats. And although I was traveling with a companion, we were not sitting together, so I tried to switch the seats or maybe try to sit closer to each other. And they told me that it's going to cost €50 for each flight per person for them to switch seats. So it's going to cost you money if you're trying to make any changes. It's probably better not to make any changes at all. So make your plans in advance. Look into that when you're booking your flight, when you're purchasing your flight, or during the check-in to make sure you avoid all of those fees. On one of my flights in Europe on budget airlines, I had an experience where they looked at my bag and they said, it's not going to fit under the seat in front of you. So I would have to either check it in or take some items out so I'll be able to fit it under the seat. The bag size was rather small, but because I put things in the front pocket, it was a backpack, it was sticking out too much. So they wanted me to put my bag into the special measuring box to see if it's going to fit under the seat. And unfortunately, it could not, so I had to take some items out and move it around different bags. But by the time I was doing that, of course, I had to be at the end of the line. So when people were boarding, I was at the end, and because of that, I could not put my bag in the overhead compartment because everything was very full, so I had to squeeze it under the seat in front of me. So try to do all of those things in advance while you're waiting for the plane at the airport. Those measuring bins will be sitting right there by the counter. Do that ahead of time, and sometimes or some airlines will ask you to even weigh your bag because the limitation could be a 7 or 10 kilo for that bag. And if you also have a carry-on that you paid for, that bag they might also weigh to see how heavy it is and if it's allowed on the plane or not. So there will be a lot of rules and restrictions. Read ahead of time, go to the airline's website to see what is allowed, what limitations you have for the size and the weight of your bags for the personal item versus your carry-on that you're probably paying for anywhere in the range of 50 to 100 euro to bring a bag with you, the carry-on bag. And usually it costs about the same to check the bag in. So depending on your circumstances, if you're switching planes, if it's easier for you to check the bag in, usually the checked-in bags are bigger and can be heavier. So if you're not worried about layovers or switching planes, you're not worried about having only carry-on items, just check your bag in. This way you won't have to worry about those items. The other thing I would like to bring to your attention is that those budget airlines will be small planes with a ladder or the steps to go up to the plane. So when you're in the airport security and you're going through the gate, a lot of times they will take you by bus to the plane. And if you have heavy bags that you have to carry up the steps or you have any kind of mobility problems, it's going to be really hard for you to get on the plane. So plan ahead, and depending on your circumstances and your medical conditions, you have to consider that the budget airlines are not very friendly towards people who have hard time walking or who are carrying heavy luggage or heavy bags. So maybe checking in the bag will be your best option. If you bring a carry-on and you're paying for it for those budget airlines, so you'll have a personal item and a carry-on, a lot of times they will put you in the group for priority boarding. That means you will be able to get to your seats first, and you will have room in the overhead compartment. Try to get to your plane at least an hour in advance, because they will start boarding priority group first, and that could be much earlier than you anticipate. So maybe 45 minutes before the flight, they will let people in who have priority boarding. If you're using restrooms, if you're buying something from the cafe and you're thinking you have plenty of time because it's another hour before boarding, do not get confused by that because they do board priority group first, and usually it happens very early. But in case you're late, you will be stuck behind and nobody is going to let you in into the front. European airports are a little bit different, so you have that terminal where you're sitting and waiting at the gate, and you think this is all you're going to have to deal with, but that's not true. Once they start the boarding, you will go into the additional area. It might be additional security, additional checkups of your passports and your bags as well. You will probably going to be standing there and waiting for another 30 or 40 minutes. You will not have a seating or you will not be able to leave the line. So be prepared. So if you have to go to the restroom before boarding, so it's going to be about an hour in advance, get it done early, because once you get through the gate, once your boarding pass is checked, you will probably going to be standing and waiting in line for a while right before they pick you up on the bus to take you to the plane. So you have to account for that. Once you're traveling on budget airlines on long-haul flights, maybe it's a 5 or 6 hour flight to Europe from, let's say, New York City, be prepared that they will not give you free water, free coffee, or the meal. So you can either purchase a meal at the airport or you can purchase it on the plane. It's going to cost you in the range of 10 to 20 euro if you're flying to Europe. And the other thing is, if you want to drink something and you're thirsty, it's better to bring a reusable water bottle. This way you can refill it at the airport and bring it with you on the plane. Because if you wanted to purchase a bottle of water on the plane, it's going to cost you 2 to 3 euro to buy water, or if you wanted coffee or soft drinks, it's also going to be extra. They do not provide anything free to you on the plane. And the reason for it is because your flight is probably very inexpensive. You only paid maybe $300 each way. Some of my budget flights were in the range of $400 to $600 round trip to go to Europe from East Coast of the United States. So it's extremely inexpensive. And because of that, they're cutting corners. They do not provide you any food or entertainment for that matter. You can check on their website to see what the menu is like, how much the food costs. Bring your credit card so you can pay for it if you're not buying anything at the airport or you don't have time. Maybe you're just going and having a layover or have to switch planes and go through all the security. When you're booking a flight, try to give yourself 2 to 4 hours between the flights, because if one flight is delayed and you have to transfer from one terminal to another, you have to go through all the security. Sometimes you have to get your bags, check them back in. If that's the case, you definitely need at least 4 hours because you might miss your flight. And during all this hassle, you probably won't have time to get something to drink or to eat. You're hoping that you will buy it on the plane or get it for free. So that's not the case. You're not going to get free meals or drinks on budget airlines. The next topic on my list is entertainment on the plane. So if you're flying those 5 or 6 hours and maybe they will have the monitors or the screens with movies, but you will have to buy headphones from the flight attendant. Or some budget airlines do not have anything. So the best way to do it is maybe download some movies on your Netflix app on your phone, something that can be watched offline while you're flying. Or bring a book, bring your computer, whatever works for you. So there won't be any entertainment. Be prepared for that. And if there is entertainment, great. It's only an extra bonus. But most of the budget airlines I traveled on did not have a screen or any kind of movies playing. And if you have your phone and you're watching those movies for 5 or 6 hours, definitely have some chargers. Some airlines will have those USB ports between the seats. Some of them are working, some of them are not. So it's probably better to bring a battery that you can recharge your phone with. There are all kinds of compact batteries. I talked about them before in my videos. I'm also going to leave a link to those batteries in the description below so you can check them out. This way you can charge your devices while you're flying. So overall, you have to expect that those small planes are rather small inside as well. The seats are narrow. It's hard to maneuver or get between the seats or go to the bathroom. So be prepared that it's going to be small. You have to worry about the weight and the size of your bags. Bring some comforting items for yourself, like a cushion, maybe a little blanket, because some airlines can be really cold during the flight, especially if it's a longer flight. Have your drinks, have your food with you, so you're comfortable throughout the flight. If there's anything else that I missed that you would like to suggest for budget airlines, please leave a comment below. I really appreciate it. I read all of your comments, and it helps our fellow travelers as well. Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate all of your support. So please don't forget to like it, subscribe to my channel, click on the notification button. This way you will know when the new videos come out. Leave comments and questions below. Thank you, and I will see you soon.